All right, today's lesson is lesson 2.4, factoring expressions. So previously, what we talked about yesterday, we were talking about distributing, okay? So we build something up. Now we're going to break it down. We're going to actually do the opposite. So look here. I have 2x. Oh, my board's not working. Oh, silly goose. All right, I have 2x plus 8, this is in its simplest form, 2 times the quantity, x plus 4, is factored form, okay? So before we were dealing with these problems and we were making them look like this, now we're going to do the opposite, okay? So the steps to factoring are, number 1, you want to find the greatest common factor for each of the terms. I'm simply talking about the coefficient and the constant. You want to look for the greatest common factor. Then we're going to, step 2, we're going to divide each term by the GCF and leave the remaining factor in parentheses. We can then, I'm going to make this optional. We can then go back and check our work by distributing to see if we get back to where we were, okay? So let's look at some examples first. All right, I have to factor each expression. That means I want to end up looking like I'm going to have a parentheses and like it's set up for distribution, okay? So it's going to look like the problems we started with yesterday. So if you look at the coefficients, I have 7 and 7. Well, my GCF is in fact 7. That is the biggest number that goes into both. So if I divide both of them by 7, I don't know what just happened there. You want to make sure you write the 7 out front, then you have your parentheses. What goes inside is what's left over when I divide. 7x divided by 7 is just x. 7 divided by 7 is 1. So if you want to check, like I said, this is optional. So we have 7x plus 1. If we go ahead and distribute, 7 times x is 7x. 7 times 1 is 7. I did get back to the original expression, okay? But my answer, this is what I'm looking for. This is my answer in factored form. Okay, so number 4, we have 4 and 20. What is the biggest number that goes into both? Remember when we were doing fractions, we always look at the smallest number and ask ourselves, does 4 go into 20? Well, it does. 4 goes into itself, and 4 also goes into 20. So the GCF in this case is 4. So you're going to divide by 4. When you divide by 4, that 4 goes out front, and you write down in the parentheses what you have left over after you divide. 4k divided by 4 is just k. 20 divided by 4 is 5. Since it's positive, you just put a plus sign. That is all there is to it. All right, number 3, we have 5 and 15. What is the greatest common factor with 5 and 15? Always ask yourself, does 5 go into 15 or does the smallest number go into the bigger number? And it does. So my GCF is 5. So we're going to divide by 5. We're going to put that 5 out front, open our parenthesis, and write down inside what we have left over. 5m divided by 5 is just m, or 1m, that's not wrong. Negative 15 divided by 5 is negative 3. That's it. All right, number 4 is kind of different because now I have 2 variables, but that doesn't really matter as when we're talking about greatest common factor. I'm simply looking at the coefficients here. 6 and 48. Does 6 go into 48? Yes, it does. So my GCF is going to be 6. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to use a board to make it easier, but it's not, is it? The GCF is 6. So that means we divide both terms by 6. We put that 6 out front, open my parenthesis. 6r divided by 6 is 1R, or just R. 48S divided by 6 is 8S, right? That was originally subtraction, so it's going to stay subtraction there between the R and the S. Okay, moving on. Now we have 12 and 24. Does 12 go into 24? Yes. So 12, so the GCF is equal to 12. So that means I'm dividing both numbers by 12. When you have the GCF, that number goes out front. Open your parenthesis. 12W divided by 12 is just 1W. 24 divided by 12 is 2. Probably the toughest part is finding the GCF, okay? Let's look at number 6. I have 2 and I have 9. Well, does 2 go into 9? No. So if you have a case where there are no common factors other than 1, you write that this is prime. That means it does not simplify, okay? So, you know, you could divide by 1, but that's not going to change anything, right? It would still be 2p minus 9. So prime is when you have no common factors. All right, let's look at some more examples. I have 4 and I have a 10, okay? Does 4 go into 10? No. Well, now we need to list other factors of 4, okay? So we know 4 is 4 times 1. Well, 4 doesn't work. And it's also 2 times 2. Does 2 go into 10? Yes. So I actually, hold on, I want to write the factors of 4 above this. Now I'm starting to fall apart. I'm sorry, guys. So these are the factors. Oops, no, I did not mean to do that. Factors of 4. Right? Factors are little pieces that make the whole number. Think about them like Lego bricks in your big building, okay? So we decided that 2 was going to be a common factor with 4 and 10, or the greatest common factor is 2. So that means I'm going to divide by 2. Put that 2 out front, open your parenthesis, 4n divided by 2 is 2n. Negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. Okay, that's it. All right, let's look at number 10. I'm sorry, at number 8. I have a 10 and I have 45. Okay, so you want to ask yourself, what is the greatest common factor with 10 and 45? Well, 10 does not go into 45, so let's write the factors of 10 over here. Factors of 10. Well, we know it's 10 times 1. It's also 2 times 5. Okay, so we check 10, that doesn't work. Let's check 5, that's the next biggest factor. Does 5 go into 45? Yeah, 5 is our GCF. Because we're looking for the biggest number that goes into both, okay? Once we see that that's 5, we're just going to divide both terms by 5. We put our 5 out front, open our parentheses. 10y, or 10v divided by 5 is 2v. 45 divided by 5 is 9. Just going to keep that plus sign there in between. All right, so why don't you take a moment and pause this video and solve 9 through 12 on your own, okay? Okay, so in number 9, hopefully you got that the GCF was 3. Remember, we always look to see if that smallest number goes into the bigger one, and if it doesn't, then we list the factors, right? 6 and 1, 2 and 3. Start with the biggest factor, right? We already checked 6. 3 was the next one. 3 does go into 21, so that was it. Then for number 10, the greatest common factor was 4, right? You want to look at the smallest number, list all the factors, 1 and 12, 2 and 6, and 3 and 4. 4 was the greatest common factor. Then for number 11, I have 8R and 15. 8 does not go into 15. None of the factors of 8 go into 15, except for 1. So this is prime. No, there's no way to break this down or to factor this. So for number 12, we have 24y and negative 40. The GCF was 8. Divide both terms by 8, and I get 3y minus 5 inside my parentheses. Hopefully you did well on that, and I hope you really are practicing. Okay? So now we're going to talk about a word problem, okay? So first off, the original expression was 32m minus 24. So I'm going to read the whole thing for you. A question on a quiz asked students to factor the expression 32m minus 24. Ryan and Jane gave their answer below. Explain who is correct and why. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this problem on the side, right? 32m minus 24. I need to know what is the GCF. Another thing I'm going to point out here really quickly before I go crazy with this is if you look at Ryan's terms inside the parentheses, there is still a common factor with 8 and 6. They're both even numbers, so they can both be broken down by 2. But if you look at Jane's, she has 4 and 3. There is no common factor with 4 and 3 except for 1. So I believe Jane is correct. So if maybe that's what we want to write. So we think Jane's correct. And let's just make sure Jane is correct. Like, let's see if we use 8 as my GCF. Put that 8 out front, open my parenthesis, write down what I have left over. 32 divided by 8 is 4. Negative 24 divided by 8 is 3. And I did end up getting the same thing. So yeah, so Jane is correct. So let's just write in our words here. Jane is correct. Because she is. Because there is no common factor in the parentheses in Jane's answer. But there is a common factor in Ryan's. Okay, sound OBKB? All right, so now we're gonna kind of like ramp it up just a little bit. Okay, here we have expressions. It says to simplify. That means to combine like terms. Once we've simplified, then we're gonna factor, okay? Then we're gonna practice doing on the front side what we were already doing. So if we look here, right, I have 4x, negative x, 4 minus 1 is 3. I have negative 2, positive 23. When I add those together, negative 2 plus 23 is 21. The GCF here is going to be, right, does 3 go into 21? So 3 is going to be my GCF. You've got 3 out front, x plus 7. Right? Simplify means combine like terms and then factor. All right, let's do another example here. So I have 11m minus m. 11 minus m. Remember, there is a 1 here. So if drawing that 1 helps you make less mistakes, then do that. 11 minus 1 is 10. So 10m. And then I have negative 13 and positive 5. Negative 13 plus 5 is negative 8. Now I'm looking for my greatest common factor with 10 and 8. Well, if we think about the factors of 8, we have 1 and 8, where 8 doesn't work, and 2 and 4. 4 doesn't go into 10, so 2. So my greatest common factor is going to be 2. So 5m minus 4. Do not forget to put the 2 in front of your parentheses. Okay, so now we have some other problems to practice here. I have 23p minus 3p. 23 minus 3 is 20p. Then I have negative 27 plus 2. Negative 27 plus 2 is negative 25. So you need to come up with the greatest common factor for 20 and 25. Well, the greatest common factor is, in fact, 5, right? So if you think about your multiple or your factors of 20, 20 and 1, 2 and 10, 4 and 5. So we know 20 doesn't work, 10 doesn't work, but 5. That's how we get that, okay? So list out the factors if you're not sure, right? Then we simply divide both terms by 5, put that 5 out front. 20 divided by 5 is 4. 25 divided by 5 is 5. Just keep that subtraction sign, negative there. Beautiful. All right, 17 is a little strange because I have more than one like term here. I have, and we'll just keep it in alphabetical order, right? So we have 7x and 11x. 7 plus 11 is 18. Then I have negative 2y and negative 8y. Negative 2 minus 8 is negative 10y. Now when you think about factoring this, because we have to factor it now, I want you to think about the greatest common factors of 18 and 10. 18 and 10, okay? Well, 10 doesn't go into 18. So on the side, if I write my factors of 10 are 10 and 1 and 2 and 5. Well, 10 doesn't work. Does 5 go into 18? No. Well, the next biggest number is 2. So my GCF is going to be 2. Put your 2 out front. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Don't forget your variable. You have that minus sign here, it didn't change. 10 divided by 2 is 5, and then don't forget your variable again. This one has multiple variables. Okay, great. All right, so I'm going to do 2 more examples, and then I'm going to let you guys finish the last 2 here. All right, so the reason I wanted to do these together with you or for you or whatever is because I need to distribute. So it's kind of weird. Like we're building this up, and then we're going to break it down. So 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. Make sure you write everything else down, just like we did on Monday, okay? So now I have like terms. 15a minus 13a is 2a. Negative 10 minus 2 is negative 12. My GCF is going to be 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. I can write 1a. That's okay. Negative 12 divided by 2 is negative 6. Oh, that was weird. I almost wrote an absolute value bar. Sorry. Okay, we good, my dudes. All right, good. All right, remember 19, if there's that negative sign out front, put a 1 if it keeps us from making a mistake, because I need to distribute negative 1 to both terms here. So that gives me negative 4k. A negative times a negative is a positive 17. All right, bring everything else down. All right, now we have like terms. 24k, negative 4k. 24 minus 4 is 20k. Positive 1, positive 17 is 18. Now we got the factor. Okay, does 18 go into 20? No. So let's do our factors of 18. 18 times 1 makes 18. 2 times 9 makes 18. 3 times 6 makes 18. Those are all the factors, right? So let's go down the gamut here. Well, 18 doesn't work. Does 9 go into 20? Nope. Does 6 go into 20? Nope. Does 3 go into 20? Mm-mm. But 2 does, because 20 is an even number. So 2 is my GCF. Again, it's a very popular one, isn't it? All right, so we put that out front. Don't forget that. All right, this is my, again, ready for factor form. 20K divided by 2 is 10K. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Hallelujah, I'm done. All right, why don't you guys do 20 and 21? Remember to put a negative there between, a 1 between the negative and the parenthesis for number 21. Pause the video so you can practice and get good at this. All right, check it out. Hey, hopefully you guys noticed that that was a negative in front of that 3, so you're distributing negative 3 to m and negative 3 to 6n, and you end up with negative 3m minus 18n. Combine my like terms. Here we go, 6m minus 24, find my GCF, kabooshki. That's an n, I don't know what happened there. All right, and number 21, my factored form was 2 times the quantity, 7r minus 3s. All right, so now I want you guys to get out that graphic organizer I gave you, simplify versus factor, and we're gonna fill that out, okay? All right, so what I wanna do is, first off, let's just like look at this. This is a graphic organizer. This will definitely help you. Oh, I don't know why it's so far high up, you can't even see it. All right, so the difference between simplifying and factoring, okay? A simplified expression is an expression with no like terms and no parentheses, okay? And then factor is when we factor an expression is an expression written as a product. Bring back the parentheses, okay? So this is the graphic organizer I'm talking about, and now we are going to fill it out. I'm going to try to write my best on this board here, okay? So let's do the simplify first. But what we need to do is we need to combine like terms, right? 10x, negative 2x, that gives me 8x. Then I have negative 4, positive 19, that gives me positive 15. Number 2, I have positive 3k minus 8k, that gives me negative 5k. Negative 6, positive 2, gives me negative 4. And listen, if your mental math is a little rusty, please do not hesitate to use a calculator, okay? I'm okay with that. Oh, you know how I like to put my things in boxes. Okay. Let's look at number 3. Oh my gosh, there's A's and B's, but remember, a like term has the same variable or the same type of term, I guess I should say. So 2a, negative 18a, and positive 4a. So 2 minus 18 plus 4 is negative 12. Then I have 7b and 1b, right? If you want to put a 1 here, that's okay. 7 plus 1 is 8. Right? No like terms, no parentheses. Number 4, we have m's and n's. Negative 16m, positive 9m, and negative 5m. Negative 16, negative 16 plus 9 minus 5 is negative 12m. And then I have m's. Negative 2m and negative 1m. Negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3n. Sorry, m's and n's, I shouldn't use those letters because they just sound the same when I say them, and sometimes I accidentally say the other one, and I don't mean to, I'm sorry. But I did put 2 lines under the n's and only 1 line under the m. All right, so 5 through 8 we have to distribute, right? Get rid of the parentheses. So 9 times y, 9y. 9 times 5 is 45. And I obviously did not calibrate my board, and it's going berserk. I apologize. Actually, okay, I'm going to try to write on it with my little pen here. 9y plus 45. Number 6, we distribute, means we multiply. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times negative h, negative 2h. All right, and we distribute negative 3. Negative 3 times 6 is negative 18c. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. Remember to put a negative here in between, a 1 between that negative and the parenthesis, because we're distributing negative 1 to both terms in the parentheses. Negative 1 times 4 is negative 4r. And negative 1 times negative 5 is positive 5s. All right, now to factoring what we were just doing, okay? We're undoing this distribution here. We're going to bring back the parentheses. So you're looking for your GCF, right? So the GCF for 6 and 24 is 6. So we always put that out front, and then inside the parentheses, we write what we have left after we divide. 6n divided by 6 is just n. 24 divided by 6 is 4. Kaboom. Beautiful. Okay, number 12, I have 14 and 14. Well, that's pretty obvious. 14 going to be my GCF. Write that 14 out front. 14y divided by 14 is just y. Negative 14 divided by 14 is negative 1. All right, number 13, we have 3 and 21. 3 is going to be my GCF. 3 out front. 3k divided by k is, 3k divided by 3 is just k. Negative 21 divided by 3 is negative 7. All right, 27 and 15, yowza. Well, 15 does not go into 27. So let's think about the factors of 15. So if you need to, I'm going to scroll this up a little bit to write it down. So we know 15 times 1, and then 5 times 3, right? Well, 15 doesn't go into 27. Does 5 go into 27? Nope. Does 3 go into 27? Mm-hmm. So we're going to divide both terms by 3. So 27a divided by 3 is 9a. And 15 divided by 3 is 5. All right, excellent. 2 more. We have 8 and 36. Does 8 go into 36? Let's write our factors of 8. 8 times 1 and 2 times 4. All right, well, 8 doesn't go into, 4 go into 36? Yeah, it does. So we're going to divide both terms by 4. The 4 out front, 8r divided by 4 is 2r. That's an ugly r, but who cares? Negative 36 divided by 4 is negative 9. All right, last one, 12 and 54. Yowza, that's crazy. 12 does not go into 54. So let's write the factors of 12. 12 times 1, 6 times 2, and 4 times 3. Okay, well, 12 doesn't go into 54. Does 6 go into 54? I gotta get my calculator. I'm not sure. 6 is going to be our GCF here. I have to go back to red. Sorry, I had to go. Green shows up better in the blue. All right, so we're going to divide by 6. We're going to write that 6 out front of our set of parentheses. 12p divided by 6 is 2p. 54q divided by 36, divided by 6 is 9q. Okay, I kind of got it to fit. Doesn't look the best, but I'm running out of room. It's hard to write on the screen with a spongy little pen. Okay, so keep this graphic organizer with you closely because it's going to help you with your homework and it's also going to be really useful in your next quiz. And if you guys have any questions, make sure you ask me for help. All right, have an awesome day. Bye.